Hot topic: employees of Reddit. What are your horror stories? This is my time to shine. I was helping a lady at the Disney section. She was pretty particular about the things she wanted and was asking if they looked okay enough for her. Being my first job, I was really enthusiastic about being a salesperson, and I really do love Disney. So I was hyping her up the best I could and we're laughing together, getting along really well. Then she says, "Yeah, I wanted to get all the same things my boyfriend's baby mama has. Is that weird?" Literally did not know how to respond. I said it wasn't and cashed her out quick. This was my first job in my college town, and generally, I absolutely loved it. You're treated like some super cool mini celebrity by all the little male rats. The management was generally great to their employees, and the work wasn't too hard in my small, low volume store. However, there was the issue of Valentine's Day. That year they were promoting all these different corsets and lingerie, as well as the Get in Our Pants campaign for the skinny jeans. Management wanted the employees to try and show the corsets not just as lingerie, but as fashion items, maybe paired with the skinny jeans. Increase sales and all. So there I am, Valentine's Day, in a black corset and tight black skinny jeans and boots. Way more sexy than 18-year-old me with a still developing body was comfortable with. In comes Creepy McCreeper, a 50+ something dude who says he wants to buy something for his wife, but wants some help picking it out. Not once did his eyes look at my face. The entire time I'm helping him, he's staring at my ass or chest and making weird comments about how I remind him of his daughter, or being uncomfortably comfortable telling me explicit details about his wife's body. He then asks me to try it on and show him, so he could see how it would look on his wife. Luckily, shy 18-year-old me awkwardly laughed it off and got him past the register and out of the store. I loved that job, but Jesus, did it draw some weirdos. I was there for 4 years, so I'll have to think about this for a bit. First story that comes to mind was my first Halloween. Corporate sent out calendars that were only on the shelf for maybe 3 hours. Each month was a different serial killer. It had a picture, stats and sayings from each one. For instance, one month, June I believe, was Ed Gein. It had his kill count listed, and then basic bullet point facts about him. This was the first and only time I ever saw corporate had us field destroy merchandise. To this day I wish I had kept a copy. Finally, one of these where I have an actual personal story. I worked at one for about a year. You would see a lot of cringy stuff just because of the base it attracts, but nothing terrible horrible usually besides one time. I was working a Saturday afternoon shift. It was about 3:30 PM and the store wasn't busy at all. There were only 2 weeaboo looking guys in their 20s in the store. Then, a group of 14s walked in giggling and looking suspicious. They go up to the weeaboos and start singing the Nyan Cat song. Me and my coworker are like, what the heck? One of the weeaboos gets aggressive and is like, step the flip back. Step the flip back. He then flipping grabs a chain wallet and starts swinging it at them. I call security and my coworker is just screaming hey 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 trying to stop it. One of the kids calls the weeaboos fat asses as he's still trying to hit them with the wallet, and responds to their insult by calling them daddies cum stain bitch asses. By now 3 security guards come in and break it up, while the silent weeaboo is saying the kids started it. Both parties are escorted out different exits while we give a report on what happened. Never saw any of them again. Maybe not so much horror, but just terribly annoying, cringy. Number 1. I was wearing a Hellblazer shirt that had a cover of the new 52 revamp on it. I had 2 neckbeards come up and start trying to keep me on if I was really a fan of Hellblazer John Constantine. It included the actual questions of, well, what's your favorite arc? Who is your favorite writer artist? Number 2. Halloween is coming up. It's the Halloween season after Suicide Squad came out, so we have both versions of the Joker's outfits, the other from The Dark Knight. Both versions were unreasonably expensive. In total for the Dark Knight costume, if I remember correctly, was about $200 altogether because you had to buy the coat, the undershirt, the pants etc. The fabric of the costume was just a little bit better quality than the $50 version you get at any Halloween setup store. We had a guy come in about 30 minutes before we closed for the night and wanted to try on the Dark Knight version of the Joker's outfit. The costume was hanging up on the tallest rack, so it required me getting a pole and pulling down each one because the size he needed was a large and each component of the costume. He tried it on, enjoyed it, and wanted to buy it. I went ahead to go ring him up, and then when he saw the price of it he started flipping out. He started complaining that he could find this costume and anywhere else that he wanted at a cheaper price. He wanted to know if there's any coupons or if I could give him my employee discount. I told him there's no way I could do that. He starts flipping out and says he needs his costume tomorrow and he doesn't have that money now. He took me about 45 minutes after closing to finally leave. He did not buy the costume. Even before Suicide Squad came out, working Halloween around Hot Topic was always cringy with all the Joker and Harley Quinn people. My sister worked at one for a little while. One day two grown men were fighting over a pop. It's like a collectible figure. Like a legit fight. She said it was like the comic book guy from The Simpsons fighting another comic book guy from The Simpsons. My sister called mall security and noped the hell out of their way. Neither one of them got the pop. My sister had to put all the stuff back that they knocked over. Former employee of a couple years in high school. I loved that job. The biggest horror story that sticks out in my mind was this guy that would always come in with his kids. He was a huge Ikat fan, and from the looks of it, he let his kids, both boys, they were I'd guess maybe 7 and 8 at the time, listen as well. They always had Hatchet Man stuff on and pretty bitchin' haircuts. They always misbehaved, just running around the store screaming, sometimes crashing into stuff, and the dad gave no flips. He was often pretty rude to us in the store about not having specific merch or being out of stuff in his size. He was a large guy. I had and still have no business in what that guy does with his kids, but I always felt a little bad that there was a good chance they would end up in a bad way. Other than that recurring instance, for the most part our store was really fun. I worked for Hot Topic for about 7 years. My store was apparently the Juggalo store of the district, and I think the state. Working for that company as long as I did, I was pretty used to ignoring people's crappy taste, but the Jugglers were different. This is in Central Florida, so it's on average about 90 degrees most days and always humid as hell. These kids were always very overweight, wearing a massive black ICPT. Those ridiculous 30-pound black trip pants with huge pockets and all the hardware, chains and straps, hanging from them, and they were drenched in sweat. Their hygiene was almost always awful. They always seemed to show whenever a new ICP shirt or collectible would arrive, and would smell up the store and pain wadded up, sweat-soaked money. It was just all around unpleasant. The smell would linger for a bit after they left. It was not pleasant. Former employee. I worked a whole 3 months in summer, so all the kids were out and about. I was stocking Disney merchandise and I couldn't help but notice a kid underneath one of our clearance racks. I heard some strange noise coming from there too, so I crouch under and look at the kid. He had a button, needle and all, in his mouth. I asked him where his parents were and before I knew it he swallowed the pin and ran out of the store. I couldn't leave and go search for the child, so I let security know about the button kid. Never knew what happened after that. I can't seem to forget Button Kid though. Former Hot Topic store manager here. At the height of the Twilight craze, and when I was still a sales associate, we had a midnight release party for the first movie DVD. People legitimately camped out in the mall to be at this event. Generic Twilight fans. 12-16-year-old girls, their mothers, and the odd sprinkling of adults that were wildly out of place. Employees were encouraged to dress up in Twilight merch, but me being 17 and engrossed in the suburban punk rock lifestyle, I did not participate. My manager was not pleased about this, so she marked out of stock an outfit for me. Girls size small. I love boys who sparkle tee that rode up like a crop top, the tightest jeans I've ever worn. And to top it all off, she aggressively applied eyeliner, sparkly eyeshadow, and body glitter all over me. And before anyone asks or makes the whole process into something sexy, she was in her mid-40s, overweight, and generally the most unpleasant person ever. It was humiliating. But the only saving grace is that I got so many phone numbers that night. I was drowning in high school girls who thought I was amazing. Nothing ever came from it though.